Hey everybody, welcome to Tom and Jim's exciting adventures in real estate. Is that what we call it this time?
No, but it'll do.
Anyway, hey, seriously, we just came through the hurricane, the third one that we've had, and although we had content for this podcast, suddenly we called an audible, and let's talk about hurricane and hurricane survivor. And with us is Tom, and again, I'm Jim, and this is Leslie Wells.
Hi, thank you for having me.
How about that? Hey, so listen, we're talking about hurricane survival, post-hurricane survival. One of the questions that we get is how will this affect real estate values, property values here in our area, north of the river, Manatee County? What do you think?
Well, it may be still a little too early to know. I'm hoping people will take a breath and kind of think about things and not have panic
Right.
being the reason that they make a decision to sell or buy. I think if you drive around the community, there's communities that were not touched.
How about that?
I mean, we have the rural part of the county that was Hurricane Debbie hurt them. Then
Sure.
Helene got the coastal area,
The flooding.
the flooding and the surge, and this last one, Milton, they got a little bit of everybody. Areas that were never affected before. So I think
Historical, right?
historical. So I think there's going to be communities you drive through, and they were basically just trees down, a lot of rubbish and things like that. And then there's going to be other areas. Pretty sad.
You know, Tom, at the end of the day, this is still paradise. You know, I saw pictures. I haven't been out to the beach, but I saw the pictures of the sunset. Sun still sets.
Yeah, and it's the day after Milton goes by, I have received 2 calls from buyers interested in property from out of state. So it does not appear to have an effect on people from out of state thinking to move this way. They're still coming down and they're still looking.
You know, we're all families of first responders.
Oh yeah.
Some of us are retired first responders. And tell us about the contractors and who we should hire. Who can we trust?
Well, it's important to understand when you have a massive hurricane like this, where a lot of people have damaged roofs and stuff like that, there's not enough local contractors to go around. So contractors from other states, the majority of them are great people and come down here to help us. But unfortunately, there are people who wish to take advantage of people in vulnerable situations. And those are the ones, to me, are the worst people on the face of the earth.
Right.
To take advantage of somebody in their most dire need for a roof or whatever other repair that you need on your house. So the best thing to do is do your own research. You have a tremendous research tool here. With your phone, you're able to search people and search companies on the internet to make sure that they're legit. Just as an example, 2 days after the hurricane has gone through, there's a pickup truck going through my neighborhood, all marked up with the roofing company. The guy's going door to door, looking at roofs, trying to drum up business. And I had no roof damage on my house, but he comes to my house and hands me a business card and tells me, you know, if I know of anybody that needs a roof, to give him his card. And I'm looking at his truck, and I see the tags on his truck are from North Carolina. And I'm wondering why somebody from North Carolina would be here when they have a ton of roofs to repair in North Carolina. So is this guy suspicious? To me, he was. He could be very legit and willing to help, but it just didn't seem to fit to me. So I moved him along, sent him out of my neighborhood, and he can go find. There's plenty of roofs to find. You just look into people, look at the reviews online, and make sure that if somebody offers to repair your roof, at least search online for the company that they claim to represent and check the reviews. If you're not finding that company online or you're not seeing reviews, follow your gut and find somebody else. It's understandable that people would jump on it because you have a damaged roof, you want to get it fixed, you want to move on past all of this chaos that Milton has caused, and people get desperate. And that's when the vulnerability,
Say that again.
you understand what I'm trying to say, and that's when that kicks in, and people will sometimes fall prey to scammers when that happens.
So what do you think? We go to DBPR?
I would say I would also call anybody that you know personally and ask for personal recommendations. But even when they give you reviews or read the reviews, maybe try to locate some of those people or call some of those contacts that they give you that say, oh, these people loved us. I think it's now's the time to do the research, especially when they're asking for money up front. And in the world of Venmo and Zelle, your money's gone.
Not coming back.
It's not coming back. So I think it's on you to do some due diligence. And I know there's people that can't.
Yeah.
But maybe you have a neighbor, maybe you have a friend, maybe you have somebody who could help you read. That was one of the things we were talking about too, is don't sign anything until you read it. And we live in a world where we're all headline readers,
Right.
but maybe we should take a breath and try to read through the fine print.
Yeah, my neighbor has one of those roofers that I've never heard of before with an out-of-state plate. And I don't know if she gave them money or not, but she did sign documents, and I asked her what she signed, and she didn't know. Yeah, you gotta know what you're signing.
Yes.
She signed over the rights to her roof, easy to say, and so what that
And who
means
knows
is,
what else?
so that whoever that contract, if he is a contractor, could take that money and be gone.
Yeah.
All right, it's no good.
Yeah, and another thing to do too is go out and find a roofer. Don't wait for them to find you. If you see somebody repairing a roof, they have materials there, that's a good sign. Check with them and see if they're able to do your roof when they're done. Go find your own roofer instead of being found by a roofer.
I think they still have to pull a permit, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Now I think it's expedited. It's easier and quicker to get a permit, but in this situation, that permit's still required. So.
Yeah.
The day after the hurricane, I dropped some stuff off at my daughter's house in Harrison Ranch, and there were 5 men, probably in their 20s, all walking around. They had red shirts on, matching shirts, and doing what you were saying. They were going door to door with business cards for repairing roofs and replacing roofs and telling people your insurance will cover it. Maybe it will,
Maybe they won't.
and maybe it won't. I mean,
And so insurance companies, I saw a couple of them up here. They have tents out front, easy up canopies, okay, ready to take your questions, okay, ready to file claims. Maybe it's wise to go visit your insurance company before.
maybe start there.
How about that? Yeah, let's talk to the right people. Well, stressful times. I'm talking to my daughter, who's a mental health professional, at dinner last night. And she said, yeah, it's a stressful time. It's not necessarily PTSD. It's too early for that. However, most of us are going through a stress, preparing for this, going through it, now cleaning it up. And so it can be emotional and stressful, and sometimes we're desperate. So the first people that knock on our door, yeah, that's my guy. Not really.
Yeah.
So I think we're all in the same boat there. So tough times for all of us. My favorite quote is, we're all in this together. Right?
I remember that.
How about the next hurricane coming up? Okay, now there's a lot of misinformation out there about when that's going to be. And one thing I've learned about as a resident here for a long time is nobody knows. Nobody knows.
No.
But maybe it's time to prepare for the next one now rather than 2 days before. That'll help that anxiety, right? So I know that we have been talking about what to pack up. Should we stay or should we go? Let's talk about that first. Should we evacuate for the next hurricane? Should we stay?
It's a tough call. That is. I mean, I think You have people that say, I'm going to ride it out because they have nowhere to go. And the thought of dying in their own home is preferable to going to a shelter with strangers and dogs and cats and all of those other things. I think it's a tough call.
Well, I know that in this last one, there was a county mandate about if you're in evacuation zone A on the coast or in a manufactured home, you got to go.
I went.
Absolutely. How about you, Tom?
Well, I did evacuate. This is the first hurricane that I've ever evacuated for, because prior ones I always ended up working them in shelters. But this was the first one that I evacuated for, and I evacuated specifically to take my travel trailer out of the path of the storm. Just in case the worst thing happened to my house, I would at least have some place with a roof over my head. So I took my camper out and evacuated, but it was not a comfortable feeling being that far away from my house, knowing that there's a Cat 3 hurricane going over the top of it right there. But when we got back, all was good. Very minor damage. The homes built after Hurricane Charlie are very solid homes and can withstand a lot, and you'll see that as you go through the city.
I stayed. I don't know, man, if that was the right decision or not, because it was scary. It was definitely scary. And I got to tell you, the first half went through, was scary, but the eye came through, and then the second half came through. It was terrifying.
I wanted to ask you, because we evacuated, but we stayed in Manatee County. We stayed in Parrish, actually. Yeah. And so when you hear other people talk about the sound of a hurricane or the sound of a tornado, and they always say it sounds like a freight train and this and that, it's a sound, isn't it?
It's a sound.
It's stuff hitting the windows, hitting the doors, and there was like a howling sound too. Was there?
It was, just like they said. So yeah, I think you're right. If you're not in an evacuation zone, it's an individual choice.
Yeah.
Once you've been through one, maybe you won't do it again. I don't know, but listen to what the professionals are telling you. They do that for a reason.
And I think a lot of times people in the past had felt like they were hyped up. You know,
Right.
I mean, then you see the memes of like, oh, a Florida hurricane and the lawn chairs tipped over, you know, and so people got complacent.
Yeah.
I think maybe the complacency is over. I think now people understand this is powerful.
I think you're right.
I think so.
So anyway, we just wanted to share our thoughts about this with the community. Coming up, I want to tell you something exciting I'm excited about with the Leslie Wells Realty right here in Ellington Parish area, is we have the magazine coming up.
It'll be out this week.
Yeah.
It was delayed a little bit, and I'm going to tell you why. People are busy, and this wasn't the time. Okay,
Right.
so we said nobody's got power, or a lot of people don't have power, many people don't have internet, and nobody's relaxing right now. This
That's
is
a fact.
relaxing,
Yeah.
so take your time and read this.
So yeah, so in this is going to be real estate related topics, but also recipes. I've got a little thing in there about cars and hot rods, homes for hot rods. We've all contributed about that. So that's coming up. Where can we find that?
It'll be coming out either Friday or Saturday,
Okay.
and it'll be on our website on LeslieWellsRealty.com, and it'll be on our Facebook page.
So yeah, so one of the things you asked the agents about, what are we going to pack in our hurricane kit
Yes.
for the next one? Okay, and that was kind of cool, the different answers that are out there. And again, a lot of this just comes from experience.
Some of them we can't share, but
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, we have it's a green Rubbermaid thing, and it's like a memory box.
Right.
It's got just different things that you would hate to lose. And of course, you know, it's heavy,
Yeah.
but it fits in the back of the car, and we can take it from place to place. Obviously, you can't take every one of your pictures. You can't take all of the things that are important that way to you.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a cool thing. It's got like my mother-in-law's purse and
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like that
yeah.
you can't replace.
Right.
And so that has moved from place to place with us when we evacuated. Yeah.
So I think in the magazine coming out, there's going to be a long list of choices
Yep.
and maybe check boxes that you can take with you.
How about people that don't have a can opener?
Yeah, that's important.
You need
Cans
a
are
can
cool,
opener.
but without a can opener, that's a problem. Yeah. Well, listen, this has been good. Hopefully, it's been informative to some.
Yeah.
If this is your first hurricane, welcome to Florida. But it does become a way of life, and I think we learned how to prepare and survive through this.
And probably another 102 or 105 years before we get another direct hit. So
Maybe.
I think we're good.
Can
Let's
I
just be
add one
prepared.
little thing to
Well,
this?
absolutely.
This is just something that's been on my mind. I'm hoping sellers and buyers will just take a moment on this, because I think it's very important that for a seller to ask a professional. There are bottom feeders, what we call bottom feeders out there right now. My phone is blowing up. Send me your distressed homes. Send me your hurricane damaged homes. We will buy them as is. You keep your insurance money. We'll
Yeah.
buy the house.
Yeah.
Please check with somebody. I mean, you might be missing out on a lot of money. Who knows what you're signing? So let us help you with that. We're
That's-
not attorneys, but we can recommend people, right?
This is what we do. Okay.
And maybe now isn't the right time. Maybe they didn't, but maybe they don't have money to fix their house, so they need some help. So let us help you with that. As a buyer, now is the time you need a professional more than ever. There are going to be flippers that spray can of Kills over mold, push a cabinet against it, and you'll never know what was behind there. We need good inspectors. Let us help you find good inspectors. I fear for that. I know that there's going to be people that this house is pretty, they put all the glitz and all the trendy things in, and behind it the walls are just disintegrating.
Tell me about the new form. Has this house been in a flood? Have you filed an insurance claim? What's that all about? I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen the final on that, but I know it's coming. But you know, people aren't always
Is that
truthful.
right? Huh?
And I mean, you think about the disclosure forms that they use now, that on this disclosure form, people say, I've never lived in it and have no knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay? So we know
But they
there's
do
that.
have knowledge.
They do have, because they've done the work.
That's
So
right.
they didn't physically live in it, but they did the work in the house. we
So
know
let's
that's
hire a
okay.
professional inspector to see what's behind the drywall.
Yeah.
Do a mold test if possible.
Things that we
Moisture.
don't typically do. I mean, I think a mold test is gonna be like imperative now on everything that we do.
Good idea.
Well, thank you.
We're all set?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks to Matthew Bender behind the camera. Thank you, Matt, for coming in and doing this.
Thanks, Matt.
Good guy. We're all realtors here, so we do know real estate. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.